what goals did you set for 2025? If better sleep is one, Symbiotica's magnesium L-threonate helps you wake up refreshed. For gut health, their glutathione supports digestion and reduces bloating. Symbiotica is one of the most transparent brands out there, never compromising on quality or sourcing. Their products are free from seed oils, preservatives, toxins, and artificial additives, something you can taste and feel in every packet. Go to Symbiotica.com and use code iHeart for 20% off and free shipping. That's Symbiotica.com, code iHeart.
Hey, it's Bobby Bones with some exciting news. Open booking is here for the Top Shelf Country Cruise, setting sail February 2026 aboard the luxurious Celebrity Reflection. Spots are filling up fast, so book your stateroom today or sign up to become a lineup insider to receive the final lineup 48 hours prior to the public. Don't miss your chance to make February 2026 unforgettable. Visit TopShelfCountryCruise.com. That's TopShelfCountryCruise.com.
There's plenty they could do with a second season.
Yeah, they could let Alan Moore ruin it. That's what they could do.
But it could be good.
Giant squid.
Giant squid, yeah. Yeah.
Come on, you gotta let me try it.
Me first, though. Me first. I called it.
Guys, you'll both get a turn when you're ready.
Hey, fellas. What are you doing?
Ready before.
It's Eli. He found a magical mic.
God damn it. Did you kidnap a Chippendale again?
Why do they keep letting him in there?
I don't know.
Okay, first of all, me and the bouncer have an understanding. Second of all, no, this is a magic microphone.
A magic microphone?
Yeah, Noah, it makes you famous. That's stupid.
Listen to this. Eli used his mic to start a podcast called WTF. And look, he's right at the top of the iTunes chart. Right at the top.
Guys, WTF? Really?
Oh, yeah, not just that. He also made a history show.
Is it called Hardcore History?
See, I told you guys, even Noah has heard of it.
It's amazing.
Impressive.
Guys, Eli does not have a magic microphone. Those are other people's podcasts.
Wait, seriously?
Oh.
Yeah. Yep. Seriously, you guys ready to do our show?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
I wondered why his Joe Rogan character was so much smarter than he is in person. This makes sense.
I will fucking kill you.
Hello and welcome to Citation Needed, the podcast where we choose a subject, read a single article about it on Wikipedia, and pretend we're experts because this is the internet and that's how it works now. And it's 2020. That's how it works now, too. I'm Heath, and I'll be guiding us through the origin story of the TSA, known as the First Crusade, and also the story of one of its most absurd personalities. And joining me, we have three guys who look like the Crusader version of the different size characters from Ice Hockey for 8-bit Nintendo.
Oh.
Tom, Cecil, and Noah.
Okay, I would so play a game of Space Crusaders right now. We should really get a force for that.
Which one's the fat one, Heath? Which one's the fat one?
You guys all know which
one's
sizes
the
you
fat
are.
one, Heath?
Don't-
No, I want you to say out loud right
I
now.
think you guys know.
Which one the
You
fat
all
one is.
know Eli's the fat one. And also joining me, we have a guy who doesn't really fit into that sports thing, Eli.
I like to think of myself as the equipment manager of the podcast.
Nobody would let you touch the equipment.
You do look like the equipment manager of the Crusades. You do kind of.
Thank you. Yeah,
That works.
No,
And
he
I-
doesn't.
I leave all the pikes on the subway, and then
I didn't say which team.
meet a prostitute. It's a whole thing.
All right.
Have a hat.
Let's get right into it. Tell us, Cecil, we already kind of hinted at it, but there's a little more details to it. What person, place, thing, concept, phenomenon, or event are we going to be talking about today?
Well, today we're going to be focusing on the Crusades, but also talking about Peter Bartholomew.
Excellent. And Noah, you've chosen a Confederate victory battle as a topic in the past. And now you're going with the story of a Christian lynch mob MVP. I don't have a question. I just wanted to lay out that pattern for everybody.
Yeah. No, it's much appreciated, Mr. Eugenics essay followed by penis size essay.
If you wanted to do
Appreciate
this,
that.
just ask. I mean, whatever. If you want to make your pattern a little, go with yours. Okay. Well, who was the Christian lynch mob MVP, Peter Bartholomew?
Well, he was the Christian lynch. You stole my fucking thing. He was the only soldier in the First Crusade who had a magical spear. Or at least the only one that history knows about.
I'm just picturing Eli in the middle of a battle, pulling a spear out of a lemon or something. Hey, and you're stabbing me. That was good.
It was so much less impressive than that.
You all circled around and waited, but okay.
Okay. So
I'm stabbed.
All right. So getting started here. Obviously, there's no one reason for the First Crusade. And I'm not going to be able to do all the various causes or proposed causes justice in the course of an episode. But basically, it comes from a power vacuum.
Got it. Say no more, Noah. Say no more.
I have several more paragraphs, Eli. It's late 11th century.
Oh, no. That's just the impact of a Republican administration. I can understand the confusion now. That's fine. It feels like
In the
it.
story, rather.
Yeah.
It's the late 11th century. The Byzantine Empire has been in decline since it began to exist. And we're getting to the point where it's just barely holding on to most powerful European empire status. It's been getting its ass handed to it by one Muslim group after another for centuries. And at this point, the Seljuk Turks are basically knocking on Constantinople's gates. And late 11th century is also right after the Great Schism that split Eastern Orthodoxy and Roman Catholicism. That happened in 1054. So up to this point, being the Pope was, this was a big deal, but it didn't have that leader of Christianity thing that it has going today. He was one of the main guys. Some might even say the main guy, but nowhere near as much as compared to the unquestioned authority that the Pope has within Catholicism now. But Pope Urban the sequel was looking to change that.
Urban? Hoping for change? Accuse him of being the Antichrist. He could be Defrock Obama.
With the name Urban, I looked up some Keith Urban songs. I was going to make one of those clever puns with the song. And then I saw that he has a song, no shit, called John Cougar, John Deere, and John 316.
Oh,
and so I decided to take a whole bottle.
Seriously?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's for real. Yeah. Yep. And then I read that and I took a whole bottle of Tylenol just so I could put my fucking inevitable liver failure on Facebook Live. That's preferable.
So the Pope gets an envoy from Alexios Komnenos, the Byzantine emperor, asking if maybe the Pope could help rustle him up some guys. After all, he's been manning the front line in the great battle between Christianity and Islam. Seems like a Pope kind of thing to help out with. But it's not like the Pope was the only person he was looking to for help. He basically sent out envoys to everybody you could think of. But it turns out that this is exactly what the Pope needed to consolidate his power. Pope Urban Part 2 turns to France to see what kind of army he could muster, because obviously, the religious leader with the big army is the one in charge. So this leads to the Council of Clermont, where on Tuesday, November 27th, 1095, he gives this historic speech to a huge audience of French nobles and clergy. He talks about the random violence Christians are subjected to in Muslim lands.
Wait, what was the objection that he wanted the violence to be there, but just less randomized? Is that the problem?
Wait, no, honestly, given what Catholicism was doing at the time, yes, he did actually. But he talks on and on about the ways that Muslims are ravaging Christian women and killing Christian men and eviscerating elderly Christians to make sure they're not hiding any gold in their stomachs.
Okay, quick point. That is real embarrassing when you turn out to be wrong on that one, though. Eggs on your face.
Yeah. Right?
Then.
If the guy ate eggs.
The fucking metal detector went off. What do you want me to do? Okay, I had to get in there.
Told you it was about the TSA.
All right, so all of these terrible injustices that he recounted were, it's worth pointing out, either shit he just made up or shit somebody else made up and told him. In truth, the Christians that lived under these Muslim-controlled places were being treated just fine until Christian armies started showing up. But there is no indication that any of the shit Pope Urban II was saying was true.
Okay, so basically Jussie Smollett, but with less integrity. That's not a good look.
Jesus Christ.
So it's during this famous sermon that he also introduces this whole new kind of war that God was telling him about. See, it turns out that the God of peace and forgiveness occasionally needs to kick a little ass, and in those rare instances, he needs his followers to go on an armed pilgrimage. Yeah, it's like an invasion, but it's different because God. And in exchange, God was willing to offer up rewards in heaven and remission of sins for anybody that died along the way. And thus, the whole concept of crusading was born.
Yeah. Yeah, you get extra rewards in heaven. Heaven even rolled out the new slogan, the most perfect place got a lot more perfecter.
Yeah, what do you get? You get to cut in line at all the rides?
What the fuck do you get? It's fucking bliss. What the fuck extra?
Yeah, it's a weird sales pitch. Just like, so you know how angry mobs are just kind of meh, like going through the motions.
Yes.
Added some carrots to that.
Yeah. All right, so you might be wondering why an omnipotent God would need the help of his followers to win back Jerusalem. Well, that's a good question. And apparently it's one that they thought of even way back when. It turns out that God was actually just faking needing their help so that they'd have a chance to prove to him that they were willing to help him.
Yep.
Which was good enough logic to kick off a meaningless series of wars that would ultimately lead to the deaths of 1.7 million people.
Yeah. I mean, God test ran this with Abraham and Isaac and loved the results so much he did a global rollout.
Yeah, no, that's about it.
Same thing.
Honestly, Cecil.
And then Alan Dershowitz defended him.
Honestly, Cecil, the Middle East being God's test market for like religious bacon-flavored Sprite and the Double Down makes a ton of sense if you think about it.
It's like the Peoria of God's marketing department. Yeah. All right. So to be clear, I should point out that we don't actually have a contemporary record of this sermon. What we have are several recollections of it written down after the First Crusade ended. So we don't know for sure if he specifically named Jerusalem as the ultimate target. Some records say he did, some don't mention it, but it's pretty clear from his subsequent letters that he did intend from the very beginning that this would culminate in Christians taking back Jerusalem some, I think, 4 centuries after they lost it.
Ooh, okay. Awkward. Not really clear why we did any of that, but I don't know, probably something to do with real estate. Let's just say Jerusalem. What do you guys got? Jerusalem?
Yeah, we need a 3-state solution. That's why there's so much arguing. You know, there's no Christians around, and we really need to add to that.
That would help. All right, so I should point out, like, that's not what Alexios Komnenos had in mind, right? He sent his envoys to the Pope asking for help defending his territory, maybe win back the city of Nicaea, which was just recently taken over, but not invade Jerusalem and create a whole new Christian empire. So he's expecting at most a token force of knights. What he got was something else altogether. The first thing he gets is a few thousand peasants with no military training or weapons or anything showing up going, hey, where's the crusade at? This is the infamous People's Crusade, led by Peter the Hermit.
Okay, this seems like an outgoing thing for Peter the Hermit to be doing.
Yeah, he
right?
was bad at hermiting, clearly. Well, he was also bad at leading military crusades, so, you know, might as well. Apparently, there were a lot of folks in Europe, though, that needed some serious remission of sin because thousands upon thousands of people headed out to the, Pope's call of arms. In fact, people were so enthusiastic that they didn't wait for the real soldiers to leave. They just walked to Constantinople, trusting in God to take care of them along the way.
What? Oh,
How'd that go?
jeez. Yeah, the same thing fucking got us global warming. Glad to see we didn't fucking enlightenment our way past that shit, right? Yeah. That's fucking
Jesus.
awesome.
Yeah, but at least we got air conditioning out of the global warming.
Yeah, well,
you
that's
know,
right.
like-
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right. Honestly, I could do an entire essay, though, on the People's Crusade and how much trouble they had even getting there. And they so almost died so many times. But this essay was begging for mission creep all over the place. Let me get back to it. So imagine the emperor surprise, right? He gets this ragtag ass bunch of peasants showing up asking for swords and something to eat and saying the Pope sent them, right? He's like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? And he sends them on their way, right? So they're like, all right, time for us to invade Turkish territory and start. running around getting their asses kicked in one city after another. It was basically the volunteer immigration force of southern Arizona, but for 11th century rednecks, right?
And way more inept. Yeah.
Yep.
I'm just picturing like that Muslim lookout guy just holding back tears of laughter, being like, hey, no, fellas, check this out. I'm pretty sure there's a band of fucking white LARPers coming to attack us. I don't know. This is going to be great.
But our hero, Peter Bartholomew, wasn't with that group, so we have to move on. He came in the second wave, the one that had actual soldiers and military leadership. Now, we don't know for sure how many soldiers there were, but the range cited in the Wikipedia article is 30 to 35,000 men. So this contingent left in August of 1096, unless you count massacring practice Jews.
No, we don't count them. No, it's
yeah. Okay, good. In which case, they would have started earlier if you did.
Equipment
with
manager.
a thing called
Thank you.
the first Holocaust by a lot of people. I don't want to brush by that too quick. But okay, so by the time they show up, Alexios is kind of sick of European soldiers showing up wanting to take over Jerusalem. Right, he hadn't even gotten all those peasants from the People's Crusade killed off yet, and here's another undersupplied army showing up to invade Jerusalem, which again is not what he was after. Plus, Christendom wasn't exactly united at this point. One of the dudes leading one of the four armies here was actually a guy who had invaded Byzantine territory several times before. And now that guy wants to march an army around Alexios' empire and wants him to feed his fucking army while he does it.
This is like every fucking Habitat for Humanity build ever. Just like a lot of enthusiasm, no fucking useful skills. One foreman just like, no. Okay, look, I appreciate you fucking Steve, but stop waving the spear around. You know what? Forget it. I'm going home. I don't need this. I don't even need this.
Yes. All right, so basically these four armies worth of dudes show up expecting the Byzantine Empire to like take over as their leader and march them onto Jerusalem, but instead he's just in a hurry to get them the fuck out of there. He sends a couple of his generals with him to keep an eye on everything, but he doesn't commit any sizable portion of his army to their crusade. But undeterred, the leaders of the Crusade armies promise not to break anything, say they'll pay for it if they do, and then they get what supplies they can wring out of stingy Alexios, head out to Turkish territory to reclaim some cities for Christendom. And the first target on the list was Nicaea.
Nicaea, that's smart. Head back to where you founded everything, do some trust falls, get everyone back on the same page, you know?
Yeah, exactly. All right, so Nicaea is under the rule of a dude named Arslan. So he hears that there's a European army on its way to take a city, but he's been dealing with the People's Crusade for months now. He's like, oh, I think we'll be fine. So he goes out on campaign against some real army, and he doesn't worry about the fact that he's left his treasury and his family and everything in Nicaea and taken most of the army with him. So the real Crusader army puts the city under siege, and when he realizes that this is a legit threat, he marches his army back. But they get their asses kicked because, let's face it, nobody in the Muslim world was prepared for an army that size to just materialize out of fucking Europe, right? So they run off his army, they take his city, hand it back to Byzantium, and then they march towards their next target, Antioch.
Do we even know what Ak did in the first place?
What?
Antioch. I'll see myself out.
Oh, wow.
All right,
yeah.
I'll walk you out.
All right, so up to this point, it's still really easy to sell this army the whole God's on our side story. They keep having victory after victory, but they won't get far into the siege of Antioch before that whole premise starts to unwind.
Okay, but we were promised a goddamn magical spear, and it's all I can think about right now.
Mm-hmm, yep.
I'm picturing like a Thor's hammer scenario, but when the spear finally flies into Peter Bartholomew's hand, it's just a spear, and he gets killed by everybody that's next to him. But if I know Christianity, it's even dumber than that.
You know Christianity.
Yes, we'll find out. First, a quick break for some apropos of nothing. Okay, but what if we jerk off on the way to the crusade? Are we cool then? Like,
Still
we can,
good. I'm telling
it goes
you,
away?
dude. Yeah.
It goes away? That's awesome. Okay, cool.
Hey, guys. Hey.
Lexios.
Alexi's so sexy, my man.
That's a good one. That's good. I like that.
Anyways, I was just telling my boy Steve here how sweet heaven is going to be if we die in the Crusades.
Ooh, 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 ooh.
We're going to make that noise all the time.
A lot.
You do make that noise a lot. Yeah, you make that's the noise. That is the noise. Yeah, that one right there. That's the noise. Yeah, no, that's it. Look, fellas, I was just wondering if you had kind of an itinerary put together yet, of when you'll be, leaving the city.
Oh, do you not want us here?
That's what it felt like, yeah.
What? No, love you guys. Love you. Just want to get the Holy Land all claimed for, claimed.
Jesus.
Yeah, Jesus. Love that dude. Man, what a God. Yeah. What a God.
Mm-hmm.
He's the Son of God.
Yeah, Son of God. Yes, love it. Did I do it right? No? Oh, forget it.
Try it again.
No, I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm done.
It's like an ooh, like the second one. You go, ooh.
I don't know. I can't.
Well, I feel like you're putting a question mark on it.
I can't do it. I can't do it.
Ooh.
No, I can't do it.
Like that's.
I'm trying. I just can't. It's like, ooh. Like I just can't.
Aim
like,
for a note.
No.
The key is to aim for a note.
Anyway, did you guys have that itinerary? A little guesstimate,
Not really, dude. No.
Yeah, not really.
Oh, cool. Just let me know if you, do put one together. Okay. Cool. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Hey, Alexi.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Can we get some more food for our armies?
Oh yeah, we are starving out here.
Yeah. Yep. Coming right up. You bet.
Great. Okay, another question. So, what if you're jerking off while you get killed?
Still good, dude. I am telling you.
Ooh. And we're back. When we left off, a bunch of Monty Python villagers were trying to steal turkey. What's next?
It's to the tune of yakking sex, no less. All right, so Antioch, unlike Nicaea, knew what was coming. They realized a legitimate army was coming for their town, and after getting routed by the Crusaders a couple of times, Arslan adopts the scorched earth tactic. He burns all the farms, poisons all the wells that he comes across between the Europeans and their goal. So by the time they reach Antioch, they're already suffering from supply shortages. And when you're trying to put a city under siege, that's a bad thing, right? Like, I mean, basically a siege is a who has the most supplies contest.
Yeah, and now we do that with public schools. So, spoiler, it's the rich schools. The rich schools. The ones from good neighborhoods.
Right. So the Crusaders arrived outside the city on the 21st of October, 1097. And most of them are still expecting to eventually get reinforced by a Byzantine army now that they've shown they can take back a few cities, kick a little ass. But Alexius Komnenos looks at this situation, figures his best bet is to sit back until the Crusaders get themselves killed off. And then, send his armies out to claim everything, up to a mile shy of where they died. And of course, because Antioch's forces had taken all the grain inside and burned everything they could carry, the Crusaders have to go far afield to scout for food and shit, which leaves them open to attack. So they can't do it often or easily, and it's not like there's nobody to attack them. So they have to fight off relief armies in late December and another one in early February. And by then, it's estimated that about 1 out of every 7 Crusaders is dying from starvation.
Again, very reminiscent of the poor public school system. we talked about earlier.
Other side of the coin, the whole point of this thing, if you remember, was to die and go to heaven. So if you think about it, they were crushing it.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true.
And amidst that whole group, there's that one fucker whose mom had packed him a sack lunch for the Crusades, and he's just like, crinkle. It's not my fault your mom doesn't love you, whatever.
I'm not
my
going to trade you.
Son, fuck off.
The equipment manager.
It doesn't matter that it comes in a package of 2. You don't get one of my fucking Twinkies. Of course, this whole enterprise is premised on the idea that God is on their side and he's looking out for them.
Well, he's not looking out for 1/7 of them, but still.
Yeah, well, that's it. Yes, exactly.
Idea holds.
Right. Yeah, look, these guys are not in it for the money. The Knights were basically, to a man, losing money to do this shit. They were there because they had it on good authority that God was totally going to hook them up if they did. But once you get around to seeing 1 out of 7 people dying from starvation, even though you already know your God has infinite mana powers and you read about that in his book, you have to start questioning the foundation. So people start to desert and morale starts to sink.
But I love that a bunch of them were like, Man. No, but guys, this is about to work. Just give me like a few more. You guys are being weird to lead.
All right, so what's more, the various warring Muslim factions in the area, they're starting to realize that they've got a real problem on their hands. These Christians are not leaving, and they're not losing, at least not fast enough.
Okay, could you guys stop all the slow starving to death? It's called fasting. Okay, it's supposed to be fast to fuck.
All right, so now, of course, this is all happening because no one person in the area controls an army big enough to take them on. It would take several rivals working together to match their forces, and by now, some of these rivals are starting to realize this, and they're amassing their forces under the leadership of Kurbaga, I think is the pronunciation, Kurbaga of Mosul.
It's spelled like me trying to write the words kangaroo morsel, so your guess is as good as mine.
Yes, exactly. I don't know. All right, so the Crusaders hear about this army. They realize it's way bigger than anything they've faced up to this point. They realize that they need to take Antioch before Kurbaga can get there. Kurbaga? That's such a weird name. I don't know. So they recruit a turncoat inside the city that helps them sneak in and open a gate, which seems like something you would have just done earlier if that was an option, but they did.
Okay, guys, I know 14.2857% of us are dying, but let's save the turncoat for a real emergency, okay?
Yeah.
Emergency.
Jeez. They had to give that guy a code name. With all the waiting, I'm going to go with Velvet Pope. I think that's a good one.
All right, so they get into the main gate, but they don't exactly take the city. The remaining forces in Antioch retreat to the citadel, but it did put a big-ass wall between the Crusaders and Kurbaga's army, but their situation is still shit, right? They just took over a city that's been under siege for more than 7 months. So it's not like they just got a bunch of new supplies. They're undersupplied to begin with, so they're in no position to hold out for a long time against a siege of these combined forces.
The ring shape of this is weird to me, like the Russian nesting siege. That's got to be a weird dynamic.
Exactly.
Everyone's just like, all right, hold on. You're sieging us? Because, like, that's our whole thing. Like, we were, to your buddies, we're going this way. Okay, just time out. Everyone draw a chart that shows what direction your siege is going. Because this is ridiculous. We're making this harder than it has to be.
All right, so, but if religious fervor got them into this mess, perhaps it would take a little religious fervor to get them back out.
It's always worked before. Why would it?
Yeah, exactly.
Right? No.
Well, one way or the other, that's what they got in the form of one Peter Bartholomew. Yes, I did too remember what this essay was about. Bartholomew is just some lowly infantryman, but he comes forward at some point while they're under siege inside the city, and he says that he's had this vision of St. Andrew telling them that somewhere in that city he would find the holy lance that pierced Christ's side. And because Christianity has such a weird fetish about the shit that killed their God, that weapon could defeat the Muslim army.
Fantastic.
So, wait, so like the thing that killed you is suddenly your greatest weapon? Okay, everyone. Thanks for coming to my ironic siege weapon theme party. What did everyone bring? Chief Running Bear.
I brought a smallpox blanket.
Oh, nicely done. What about you, Jenny McCarthy?
The Wakefield study on autism.
Amazing. Eli Bosnick?
A shower head filled with Zyklon B.
So perfect.
Yeah, no, it's good to make the essay about the Crusades seem less offensive, like remind people we could be doing the Holocaust, guys. We could always. All right, so now, of course, all these guys are starving. People are seeing saints and holy lances and shit all over the fucking place. So when Bartholomew says all this, everybody's like, yeah, whatever. But later, St. Andrew comes back again, and he tells him he'll find the lance if he dug up the floor of the Cathedral of St. Peter. So he tells a bunch of people this, and they're like, sure, why not? What the fuck else do we have to do? So they dig up the cathedral, and they don't find anything. But then Peter Bartholomew hops down into the pit and comes back with a spear point.
What?
Spear point. Guys, I found it. It even has JC etched onto it.
Oh, wow. But hold on. Wouldn't the letters be in Aramaic? Because Jesus.
Yes, they would. Alan, what? Right. Sorry, grab the wrong one. Give me another second down here. There it is. The spear point with Aramaic JC on it.
Yeah. Cool. Actually, you know what? It was a Roman soldier's spear. Wouldn't it just be like some other guy's initials and in Roman, not Aramaic?
Yes,
actually?
you didn't let me finish. That was
okay.
a different spear point that I had just now. Here it is, a blank spear point. It's just a normal spear point.
A blank one?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Just with Jesus, though. It's the one.
I felt like I heard you scratching just now. No? No? Okay, cool. Can we just see the first two for comparison, though?
Hey,
also,
Alan fucked the Muslim guy, everybody. Did I mention that?
All right, so yeah, like we can look at this and see that very obviously this dude is full of shit and had a spear point. It's a war, They're easy to find. And to their credit, the people running the show could almost certainly see that too. In fact, they'd anticipated it. When you're on a mission from God, anybody can come forward and say, oh, you know what? God told me we should turn left at that cactus and fuck up your whole thing. So to make sure that no visionary hijacks the military operation, there's an official papal legate whose job it is to determine if the visions from God are genuine or tricks from the devil. Now, this is a dude named Adamir of Lapuy.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
There's a magic guide to check on how genuine the other bullshit magic guy's thing is.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. He's the preempting
like
bullshit
the Crusades,
guy.
James Randi.
And this is Adamar of Lapuy, and his verdict is that Bartholomew was a fucking charlatan. All right, but not all of the leaders of the Crusade were as quick to dismiss Bartholomew's holy lance. The people who were buying into it seemed to believe it meant that they could face the Muslim army and win, and the military guys could see a lot of utility in endorsing said belief. So in this instance, they basically overruled the theological guy and said, yep, that's a sign from God, folks, proof that we will win this battle. Now let's throw open the gates, you first.
Yeah, you're gonna need something to keep up everyone's morale,
Right, yeah. Food, maybe? I'm thinking food.
Yeah, we'll just head over to the fucking Stop and Shop, Alan.
Okay, no, but I'm just
That-
saying, that's a big deal right now.
Yeah, not your fault. I get hangry. I get hangry. It's been a lot of...
Yeah, no, okay. So, something else? Not food?
Something else, yeah. How about a magic spear? A magic spear would be good.
Yeah. Right, magic spear. I just feel like a sandwich would be so much better, though. Everybody will die otherwise.
It would be so much better.
Right?
I just really want a sandwich.
All right, so Bartholomew talks to St. Andrew one last time and learns that all the Christians need to do is fast for 5 days to guarantee their victory.
Oh, yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Nothing guarantees victory in a physical confrontation like going 5 consecutive days without food.
Right? Well, I mean, the good news is, though, that's easy because they're starving, right? And honestly, the 5 days might have mattered because all of these Turkish nobles are distrustful of one another, and there was a hard time limit on how long Kerbogha could hold together this coalition.
You got to have some pretty significant differences to shun unity during a siege,
Right?
Jeez, it's like 2 houses of Congress watching a president become king or something. Nobody would do that. That would never happen, right?
Oh, no.
All right, so on Monday, June 28th of 1098, the Crusaders throw open the city gate and charge against this vastly superior Turkish force, with one of their generals bearing Bartholomew's spear point in the fore. Now, again, we don't know the actual numbers, but we do know that the Crusaders were massively outnumbered. We also know that Kerbogha radically underestimated their force. But so, the charge comes out, he's like, oh, that's all their guys, no big deal. And then more guys keep pouring out. So he didn't really react until it was too late. By the time he's deploying all his forces and bringing all the weight of his combined army to bear, the people in the front lines are starting to retreat. And once that happens, the various factions kind of took a fuck this guy attitude and deserted en masse.
So it's like the army version of your buddy's second time getting back together with his ex. You're like,
Exactly.
No more.
All right, so this was a fucking disaster for the Turks, and it catapulted Peter Bartholomew to the height of fame among the Crusader army. And that's a fucking problem, because as useful as he was when he was doling out morale boosters right before they needed outnumbered starving guys to charge a well-fed army, having some random dude speaking for God can be a huge fucking problem, right? Especially when shortly after their victory in the Battle of Antioch, he starts telling everybody that Jesus wanted him to march the rest of the way to Jerusalem barefoot.
What? He's like, hold on, all the guys, look. I was talking to God, and he said we have to do this on hard mode. So no taking food, no shoes, and this is a big one from now on. From this point on, it's 3 for flinching. 3.
Oh, it's 3. But the desert is covered in slug bugs, sir. We'll never make it.
Yeah. Now,
He's testing
soon
you.
after that, Adhemar, the papal legate, dies. He is the main voice of opposition against Bartholomew's visions, and soon after that, Bartholomew is visited by Adhemar's ghost, who tells him that he changed his mind and now he totally believes that the Holy Lance thing was true.
Super convenient timing.
So, yeah, right? So soon you've got this whole army divided between people buying into Bartholomew's visions and people rejecting them.
Okay, I feel like Alan, who is clearly the Noah of this story, would have had very convenient follow-up visions right after Peter to contradict whatever the fuck he said. Yeah, no, sweet vision, Peter. That's a good one. Wait, hold on. St. Andrew, he's popping back real quick right now. You hear that, right, Peter? You hear him?
Nope. No, I think you're hearing something else.
Well, no. He said you can hear him too. He just said you heard him say that he knows that you can hear him, right?
Right. Yep. That's him.
That's
I did.
him.
You know what? I did hear him.
Yeah, you heard, obviously, because he said he's right. Saint. Cool. So, right now he's saying it's cool if only Peter does the barefoot thing. So we're all good. We're all good.
All right. So eventually Bartholomew's visions start consisting of things like long prescription lists of sinners among the Crusader army that Jesus thinks should be hanged. And that's enough to rock even his most ardent supporters. So basically everybody concludes that he's just a nutter who had a spear point. And then he gets so incensed by that charge that he offers to prove himself with an ordeal by fire.
And Alan's like, yeah, great idea, Pete. That's fantastic. St. Andrew, no, you know what? He said he'd say nothing if he agrees with that. Yep, no, totally on board. Yep. Excellent.
He's just like, I had the weirdest dream last night. I was crusading, like we do. And then I looked down and my spear was like really small and I was naked and late. And where are you guys all going? I just...
All right, now for those of you who have never been accused of heresy in the Middle Ages, I should explain what all of this means. An ordeal by fire is when you have somebody do something that would normally burn them, but if God favors them, he can make it not burn. Right? So, like you reach in...
So awesome.
I'm so excited. So he clearly wanted something tiny here, and that is not what they're going to go on.
Right, well, that's normally what it is, right? Because this is a thing they do, the like walking over coals type shit. You reach into a boiling pot of water and your hand comes away unburned because that doesn't take very long. And that's God's way of telling everybody that you're on the up and up.
Lord Jesus, be with me. That's great. I did it, everybody. All right, cool. I will see you guys later with a much older hand. All right. Woo! So loving Jesus.
I hope he just has like a single candle, like licks his fingers, snuffs it out, and fucking billionaire struts away like into the sunset.
No, right? That would be the novice version of an ordeal by fire. Peter Bartholomew would be doing the advanced version. So some of his fellow soldiers build a great big bonfire, which he then walks through. Now, the stories diverge a bit at this point, but the consensus among historians is that he comes out the other side of this bonfire very obviously burned to death and goes, see, I'm fine, guys. Then he collapses and dies a couple days later.
He's like, okay, so now I've proved myself. I believe we were discussing my list of sinners, please.
Dude, you're still on fire.
You're still on fire. I love the way this ends.
Now, interestingly enough, though, the spear point he found would continue to be treated as a relic throughout all the Crusades. When, at one point, it was captured by the Islamic army, people would die in the doomed effort to get it back because religion is stupid and makes alive people turn dead.
Makes alive people turn dead. Besides that very last thing you just said, if you had to summarize what you've learned in one sentence, what would it be?
Yeah, no, it was that last thing. I will improvise. Okay, it's easier to write essays when you pick a subject whose Wikipedia article is more than 481 words long. That's what I learned.
And are you ready for the quiz from the panel of experts?
I am ready to roll.
All right, Noah, what was the nickname for Peter's magic spear? Was it A, shallow halberd, B, magic pike, C, all that javelin, or D,
Like
the
jazz?
Yep, thank you. Or D, the hokey pokey.
Okey pokey is
All right, D is admittedly brilliant, Eli.
Thank
well
you.
done. But I see that you're doing that to trick me. I did the reading. I know the actual answer. It is secret answer E, Lance Revolution.
Very good.
That is correct.
All right, Noah. A divine adventure into the heart of the Muslim world to claim land seems like a bad idea back then. When would this also be a bad idea?
Oh, God.
A, 1948. B, 1990. C, 2003. Or D, probably again next Thursday.
or last Thursday, because we record these in advance.
Right.
This is a tough one because the answer, you would think it's secret answer E, all of the above, but it's actually secret answer F, everything that could possibly be above.
Yeah, indeed, that's correct.
All right, no, trial by fire was just one way they had to decide if you were a heretic. What was another way to plead your case? A, you had to put your hand in a bag of scorpions. They call this a stung jury. B, you lay on a bed of nails. It was an epidermis trial. C, throw you off a platform into water to see if you drown. It was a jury of your peers. Or D, peers is spelled differently there, guys. For you at home,
exactly.
peers is spelled different.
Like a duck.
And that's why it's funny. Or D, they would kill you, and if you came back from the dead, you were innocent. They called this stabius corpus. Because nobody was innocent.
All right. I'm going to be honest, I don't know. But I'm going to go secret answer E. It's like C. They throw you into a big vat of saliva to see if you drown, known as the spittle acquittal.
Oh, nice. They throw you right into the jury pool. I get it. All right. Yeah. I would, but you're wrong, though. It's stabius corpus. I'm sorry. It's stabius corpus.
Oh,
Yeah.
well done.
That was a tough
You're close, though.
Cecil, you stumped him.
Oh, man. Well, then Tom should do something, huh?
Well, who said my name?
All right. Well, for Tom, Noah, Cecil, and Eli, I'm Heath. Thank you for hanging out with us today. We'll be back next week. And by then, Tom, that was why somebody said your name.
What?
Yep.
Who's that?
You're going to be an
Hear it,
expert on
though.
something else next week. You ready?
Doesn't seem likely.
Okay.
No, very unlikely.
One way or the other, between now and then, you can hear Tom and Cecil on Cognitive Dissonance, and you can hear Eli, Noah, and myself on God Awful Movies, The Scathing Atheist, and The Skeptocrat. And if you'd like to give us money for the free thing that we give you, you can make a per episode donation at patreon.com/citationpod. And if you'd like to get in touch with us, listen to past episodes, connect with us on social media, or take a look at the show notes, be sure to check out citationpod.com.